This podcast is not a substitute for a relationship with your mental health professional. Hey, family. Welcome back to another episode of the Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast with your girl, Andrea Wise-Brown. Hey, family. We are here once again. Ooh, and I have something for you. But before I give it to you, first, I want to offer up space for someone who just found us on the internet or found us, I don't know, scrolling through the podcast. Please click this button and subscribe to the podcast, and then click this bell so that you get notifications every time a new episode comes out. And if you're listening on a podcast, subscribe to the podcast. The intention of this podcast is for you to be inspired, empowered, to be educated, and to find quality of life. I want to tickle you and make you happy with a little bit of empowerment. Okay? All right, family. So this week we jumping right into it. I want to know, do you hoard what you have? Do you keep what you have and don't give it away or are afraid to share it? Are you a hoarder? Come on, family. I'm coming closer. I'm coming a little bit closer. Are you a hoarder? Are you one of those people who just keep every single thing that you buy in life, or every single thing that someone has given you in life? Like, do you just keep it and hoard it so that you can keep it to yourself? Do you ever find yourself going to certain people's houses, and I don't know, maybe you open up their closet and you see so much stuff, like there is no space for anything new because they are holding on to every single thing that they've gotten or received for dear life? Or maybe you go into their garage and you open up their garage and you just see so much stuff, just stuff on top of stuff on top of stuff, where there is no space to even think that you could get anything else. I'm just wondering, are you a hoarder? So let me, and I started off by talking about hoarding with keeping the stuff, the physical things that you may keep that you're afraid to let go of. But I'm going to go a little bit further and ask you, are you a hoarder of money, where any dime that you get, you just want to keep every single dime, to the point where you start showing up in life as a greedy person, where you just greedy because you just want all of the money that just comes across, your face, your space, your place? Are you a hoarder of money? Have you become greedy? Yeah. Are you a hoarder of time, to where you want all of your time, or the time that you spent, just to be of you? Everything that you want the time to be spent just as you want the time to be spent, and you're not really open up for maybe other people around you, your family, your friends, your romantic partner, because you need to share time if you're in a romantic relationship. Like, that's the healthy way, is to share time. But are you a hoarder of your time because you just want to spend all of your time by yourself? Are you a hoarder, family, of love? Are you a hoarder of love, to where you just feel like wherever you are in your life, whatever the love is that you have, you just want to hold on to it with all of your might, and you're not open for new love, for love from someone else, to give love to someone else, to share love. Maybe because you've been hurt before in the past and you're too afraid to love or afraid to let someone love you. Are you hoarding your love, family? Are you hoarding? Because if you're hoarding, I'm just here to tell you that the symptoms of hoarding is rooted in anxiety, a lot of anxiety and fear of loss. And so it may begin in your childhood. Maybe in your childhood or maybe during adolescence, you experienced great loss. So maybe it was great loss of maybe your favorite, I don't know, item. Maybe if it was a favorite teddy bear or, just something that you had that you thought was really special, a favorite notebook, or a favorite pair of shoes. And then one of your cousins or brother or sister or your mother gave them away or someone took them. Then all of a sudden, you began to feel like I need to hold on to everything that I think is special to me before somebody else takes it. It's fear of not trusting the world around you, the people around you. So that's the same thing with your love is for money. Maybe at one time when you grew up in a situation where you really didn't have much, and you never really saw yourself getting any more, or you really never experienced someone giving to you. And that's the narrative that you're telling yourself, because I challenge you on that if you were in a counseling session. But have you been in a situation where you've always felt like if you don't give it to yourself or keep it for yourself, you will never have it? And maybe before you were, I don't know, maybe during childhood you were hungry, or there were things that you wanted, you felt like you needed, but there was no money for it. So when you finally got your hands on some money, you decided, I am never going to let it go. So you hoard it. You hoard it and you become greedy for money, okay, for stuff, like I was telling you, for love, because maybe you were hurt before, but even hoarding your time because you feel like whatever it is that you need to do is more important than anything that anybody else around you wants to do, even in a romantic relationship. Here's another one. Have you hoarded, or are you a hoarder of food? A hoarder of food. Some years ago when I used to see children in my practice, I had seen some children who had some issues with hoarding food. So they would keep food under their beds. They would go to the kitchen and sneak at nighttime when their parents were asleep. And then whatever food that they would find in the kitchen, they would take that food or in the refrigerator, and then they keep it in their room and they would just hoard it. Like they'd keep it under the bed, keep it in their drawers, which all would, what comes from that. There's all kinds of bugs and rodents. However, this is what's so interesting. The parents would bring the children in, right, to me, to the therapist, to help them work through their issues with keeping food in their room because they couldn't get the children, even with punishment. And at the time, well, I won't talk about their punishment, but with punishment, they couldn't get the children to not keep food in their rooms, to really hoard the food, because it wasn't like you just eating food in the room and you just leave the plate on the side and then the next day you take it to the kitchen, because that's the kind of stuff that I do. Okay, but not that. I'm talking about hoarding, like keeping food under the bed, keeping food in drawers, keeping food under the cabinets in the bathroom. Yeah. And so the parents actually thought that they were helping the kids by bringing them to the therapist so I could fix the problem, right? I'm going to fix the problem. When I will tell you 90% of the time, the fix is usually in the parents than it is with the children. But for me, when I would get children who hoarded food, what I knew immediately was they were being restricted from food, from whatever it was that they felt like they needed or they yearned for. They were being restricted. And then, once I kind of got the parents in on the sessions and spoke to them by themselves and spoke to the children by themselves, I would find that there were locks on the refrigerator. Parents would put locks on the refrigerator, or they would have restrictive times for the children to eat. And so the children became really anxious. And so you already know, when you're restricted from something, especially from one of your primary needs, like food, then what happens? When you get your hands on some food, or you see the opportunity to get it, then you freaking hoard it. So they were just taking it in, taking it in, taking it in. Anywho, coming back to you, family, just giving an example, a real life example of hoarding food. But I'm going to say to you, as adults, are you hoarding food? Are you going on all these fad diets and doing all these things where you're restricting yourself? So then all of a sudden, when you do give yourself permission, or a doctor gives yourself permission, or the scale gives yourself permission, give you permission to eat again, you just taking all the food, you overbuying food at the stores, as if you feel like there is not going to be any food left because of the restriction, because of something that happened in the past. Okay? You guys are creating trauma for yourselves, or maybe you've experienced trauma as a child, which in turn creates fear and a lot of anxiety that you live out now as adults, and you've become hoarders. So are you hoarding, family? So as I sit here, I promise you, I am not sitting here with any judgment. I am sitting here because I want to give you the tools to get over hoarding. You hoard because you feel like things are scarce. There's a sense of scarcity. You feel like things are scarce and there's not enough. So the whole thought of scarcity, it is a state of being scarce or in short supply, like a shortage. Y'all know, what was it? I think just on the internet just recently, one of my friends, she sent me a list. She was on her way to the store and she said, girl, they have a strike at the borders. And I'm just telling you, we do not want to go back to those COVID days when we couldn't find hand sanitizer and gloves and masks and Lysol. So I'm going to send you this list. And when you get this list, you make sure you go to the store, because they're going to be shutting down the border and all these things because the people are on strike and you're not going to have anything. So you better run and get it. I'm going to share this list with you. So I'm sitting up here. I'm like, oh, okay. Now, I am not a person who frequently watches the news, because I know that there's a lot of fear baiting on the news. And I know this as a fact, I understand this, that news stations need viewers. So when news stations, when they get a topic that they get a lot of people watching, whatever this topic is that a lot of people are watching, that's what they need. They need watchers, they need viewers so that they can make money, get advertisements so that they can stay on the air. I know this for sure because I'm called sometimes to do little spots on different news shows or different little shows. And so they're not calling me on just to talk about whatever Andrea wants to talk about, because I'd be talking about all this kind of stuff. They're like, no, we need lots and lots of clicks, boo. So whatever's going on in the headline, we might need to ask you the mental health perspective on that so that we get more clicks. So because of that, I really do not watch the news that often. I may check in every once in a while because it's a fear baiting mechanism, and it causes some anxiety, fear, and depression. And sometimes it really does make things appear to be way worse than they are in our world. But I digress. I'll come back. So this was something that my friend heard and saw on the news. So she sent it to me because she was trying to help me. And I get that. And I love her for that. So then here I go. I'm looking at the list like, okay, all right, I'm looking at paper towels. I'm obsessed with paper towels, detergent. I don't know. Maybe y'all got the soap and all these things. So I thought to myself, Andrea, Although during the pandemic, you didn't go out and you didn't get all of those things. You weren't loaded up then. You didn't get all those things from the store at the time, because during that time you would go to the stores and it was scarce. The shelves were scarce. And in addition to that, this was a friend that you did call, or she called you and told you she had some things and she gave it to you. So I said to myself, let me just calm my little self down. Let me ground myself. I'm not going to get caught up into, an impulsive state where my prefrontal lobe isn't working, where I don't have my reasoning and my logic. So let me kind of settle in. And I started to process. And I said, baby girl, love, say to myself, love, you aren't going to miss out on anything. You have some paper towels. You done went and checked. You have some tissue. I mean, how much tissue do you need, or paper towels? You know what I'm saying? You got soap. Like, you have enough stuff. Let's look and see. You got enough food in the refrigerator. You have enough food. Like, you're good. And guess what? God is not going to let you fail, because even during the pandemic, he didn't let you fail. Even if you have to ask your friend, because you already know she's going to the store and she's loading up. So you're going to be good. So family, I had to settle in and relax and look at what I already had to find a sense of peace and knowing, and then going back to trusting that God's got me no matter what. So all those things that I already had were my blessings. So that's why I'm asking you, family, did you get caught up in that little ring of scarcity where you felt like everything was going to be gone? Because then I had some other friends that said they went to the store and they couldn't find paper towels on the shelf. They couldn't find tissue on the shelf because they got caught up into thinking in this fear baiting of there's not going to be anything left for you. So hey, family, I have something for you. I'm excited for you to see this, and hopefully you'll taste it. So this is a protein drink that I love. And guess what? It has only what you need. That's the name of it. OWYN, which stands for only what you need. It is a protein drink with 20 grams of protein. Oh my gosh. But my favorite flavor is dark chocolate. So in the mornings before I go work out, I will drink this protein drink, and it's so good. As I told you, I'm always going to be transparent with you about how I make mental health a lifestyle. And this is a part of how I take care of my mind and my body. All right. And so this is 100% plant-based, 100% gluten-free, and 100% vegan. It has an excellent source of omega-3s. It contains 3 grams of prebiotics. It's a good source of fiber. It has essential amino acids, greens blend, and peas from North America. And I'm going to repeat, it is 100% plant-based, 100% gluten-free, and 100% vegan. Family. And let me just tell you, even sometimes during the afternoon in between clients, if I get hungry and I feel like I need something, but I can't really sit down for a meal, I will go to the refrigerator and get only what I need. And this is the flavor, but they have so many other flavors. And family, you can get them from everywhere, wherever you shop. So Walmart, Target, Whole Foods, you can find them everywhere. All of the grocery stores. So they have vanilla, vanilla, and it's 20 grams of protein. Cookies and cream, there she is. They also have, if you are into coffee, they have one that's called a cold brew coffee. So if you're into coffee and the taste of coffee, cold brew coffee, and it's still a protein drink with 20 grams of protein. They also have mocha latte, caramel macchiato, and a vanilla latte. So these are the different flavors. Vanilla latte. Okay. And let me tell you this. So all of these that I just told you about, you can find them in the grocery store. But then there's one that you can only get online. And that flavor is strawberry banana. It's only what you need. That's what's in here. Only what you need. So family, don't you ever say that I didn't give you nothing. That I didn't give you nothing. So please go out and try it. I mean, I drink them all the time and I really do enjoy them because they have only what I need. So I'm asking you, are you thinking in that way when it comes to your stuff? That if I don't hold on to the stuff that I have, I may never get it again? I'm going to challenge you, family, because some of that stuff you don't even use. If you haven't used it in a year, 2 years, I'll start you off with 2 years. Give it away. Bless somebody else. Give it to somebody else. Some of that stuff, family, that y'all have, you haven't seen, you haven't used it. You don't even remember that you have it, but you holding on to it. And as long as you hold on to stuff, the stuff that you have, you are not opening up space for what God has for you, for the new. Don't you want the new, family? So stop hoarding. Don't y'all understand? And I'm here to tell you that you don't have to hoard love. You don't have to hoard your love because you're afraid to love somebody else because somebody hurt you. You don't have to hoard your love, hold it to yourself. No, exchange love, give love, be love. That's the only way you're going to get it back. You don't have to hoard your stuff. Give it away. That's how you get more. You don't have to hoard your money and be greedy. If you want more money to come, money is currency. It is supposed to move. So give some money away so that you create space to get more. You don't have to hoard your time. It ain't just about you. Humble yourself and open up your time and give some time to others. Give some time to your romantic partner. Give some time to volunteering. Give some time to your friends, family. Don't you hoard your time. I need you to understand that God is always conspiring for your good. So you can let go of the fear that you will never get another ... whatever that thing is again. You can let that fear go because God has what's next for you waiting for you. But you'll never get it and you'll never access it if you're full of all of the old stuff that you're carrying around. Let go of that stuff. Bless somebody else. Give it away and stop charging for it. You know, some people, now don't get me wrong. You know, I'm going to always be transparent with you. And y'all know I always say the caveat, as transparent as I can be. I'm going to be transparent with you about me, okay? So I will say that I am a woman who used to have garage sales. I used to love garage sales. And I used to love them because I would have my children, my daughter and my godsons outside and my stepson Sahad outside, like in front of the house, because I wanted to teach them what it looked like to buy and to sell. I wanted to teach them business. So there was some benefits to having garage sales. I wanted to teach them, you know, what entrepreneurship looked like and what currency looked like, and also get rid of some stuff that, you know, was of good quality. So I'm not going to lie and say that I haven't had garage sales. I have. But what I want to say, and I'm not going to shame you for having garage sales. I think garage sales are amazing. And then whatever you have that's left over, don't you go pulling that stuff back into that house again for the next garage sale. You take all of that stuff and you call somebody, one Goodwill or I Got Junk or one of them places to come pick up that stuff so you can bless somebody else. Or find somebody on Facebook or go to the church and take that stuff to the church or to the nearest domestic violence shelter that's near you and bless somebody with that stuff. So, two things. You can have a garage sale. There's no shame there. I've had them before. But after the garage sale and you've earned your money and you've taught your kids or whatever, give that stuff away. That's the only way that you're going to create space for more, for what God has for you. So you blocking your blessings. Don't you block your blessings, family, with hoarding. So here you go. Let me just give you some steps that's going to help you out there, my logical listeners out there who need to know exactly what to do. You say, Andrea, please tell me exactly what to do to get past this hoarding thing. Because I got an issue with hoarding. I like to hold on to stuff. It just don't make sense for me. Doesn't make sense to me to just let stuff go. How do you let stuff go? Well, it does make sense to you if this space right here is all full of stuff, but yet you yearn more and you want more. So how do you get more? You have to create space for the new stuff. And in doing so, you bless someone else. You bless someone else. You give it away. Okay, so here are the steps. Here are the steps. So the first one, if you are in this space where you feel like I got this issue, this fear, Andrea, and it came from childhood, or it came from when my heart was broken, or it came from when some people broke in my house and stole all my stuff, or when somebody wasted my time, When you're feeling like that, and you like, I just don't know how to let go of the fear. What are the steps to push through this fear of letting go of things and not hoarding it and holding on to the thought of scarcity is so scarce that I'll never get anything else, because that's a lie. The first thing I want to do is I want you to look around to all of the things that you do have already and be grateful. First thing is be grateful. Be grateful for every single thing that you have. All the things that you have. And while you're being grateful, I want you to think about how you actually created all of these things. And you didn't do it by yourself, but by what means did you acquire all of these things that you love? Well, let's just go to the basics. I don't know if someone gave it to you. Well, if you're good to people, somebody else will give you something else. I don't know if you worked for it. Well, if you get out here in the streets and you start thumping and you work again, you can buy more. You understand what I'm saying? Like, however you acquired it, God says he's always conspiring for our good. So there's more ways to acquire more, but you can't, because even if it came your way, you'd block it with what you have. So you're going to start off with being grateful for every single thing that you have before you decide what you want to give to others. The second thing you're going to do is when you start to have negative thoughts about, oh, I don't want to give this away because I may not get anything else, or I may not want to give this away because Aunt Sally Sue gave this to me and it was so special. Then what I want you to do, number two, I want you to reframe those negative thoughts. Reframe them. So the first one is that I don't want to give anything away because I may not get anything else. Reframe that and try to remember what Andrea said, is if I give this away, I'm making space for what's new. And the way that I acquired it before, I'll acquire it again because God is a God of abundance and prosperity. That's what he promises us. So, let me reframe that thought, because that's fear-based. That does not mean that I won't get this again, or I'm going to get it. It's going to be even better next time. They have the newer versions. So I'm going to give this away. Or, I better hold on to this because, Aunt Sally Sue gave this to me. So if I let this go because Aunt Sally, Let's reframe that. Oh, this is so nice. Aunt Sally Sue gave this to me. I will never forget the moment when she gave it to me and how it made me feel. I haven't seen it in about 4 or 5 years. And Aunt Sally Sue, she ain't thought about it either because she done passed on. Blessings to Sally Sue. What am I holding on to it for? I'm going to bless somebody else with the gift that Sally Sue gave me. Currency. I'm going to keep it rolling. I am going to give this because if it made me happy, thanks to Aunt Sally Sue up there in heaven, then I am going to give this to someone else so it can make them happy because it was full of dust. I ain't even seen it. Is that really going to make Aunt Sally Sue happy? I don't think so. Reframe your negative thoughts when fear pops up about giving stuff away and releasing the stuff so that you don't hoard it. Number 3, I want you to set goals. Set goals of how you are going to accomplish what else you want. How else am I going to accomplish what I want? So yeah, once I give stuff away, first I'm grateful. And then after I'm grateful for what I have and I decide what I want to give away. And then when I get those negative thoughts, I reframe it. Yeah. And then I give away. And so now I create some goals as to what I want all of this space that I have now, what I want it to look like. What do I want to replace the other stuff with? So you create some goals so that you can accomplish those things to get the things, the new things that you want that you'll have for only a certain amount of time so that you can also give those things away. You know, God loves a cheerful giver. I don't know where that comes from in the Bible, but I've heard it before. Y'all can find it for me. And number 4 is don't compare yourself to someone else. So, what I've noticed is that people who hoard stuff, who hoard love, who hoard money, who hoard time, right? People who hoard stuff are always feeling like they don't have enough, and they're feeling like that because they're comparing themselves to somebody else, to the Joneses. Y'all remember back in the day, and I don't know who the Joneses was, and this saying has been around for a long time, but you comparing yourself to someone else. Especially on social media. Please, people be on social media faking. They be faking the funk. A lot of that stuff they don't even own. They stop in front of a car, a Bugatti, and they take a picture. And they post it, and y'all thinking, oh my gosh, they got that. And then they take a picture in front of a Maybach one day, and they take a picture in front of a Porsche the next day, and they change it. Like, they don't own that stuff. Don't you compare yourself to other people. You live your life, which is amazing because you can make it amazing. You create your race. You run your race, which is amazing if you make it amazing. Comparison is the thief of joy. That is in the Bible too. Do not know where it's found in the Bible, but comparison is the thief of joy. Try it. You'll see it will rob you of all of your joy. Don't you go comparing yourself to nobody else, because then that brings on that evil spirit of jealousy. And you don't want to carry around an evil spirit of jealousy. What you are trying to create in your life is surplus, is more, because that's what God said is your birthright, is abundance, is prosperity. And if you know that and believe that, there is no space in your life to be jealous of anyone else. But a lot of times, that's what that comparison will do. Comparing yourself to someone else, it will creep up that spirit, that evil, negative spirit of jealousy will creep up in your spirit and take over. And before you know it, you ain't even living your life no more because you keep comparing yourself and you hoarding everything because you'll start to feel like having the stuff is what makes you better than who God created you to be. And what is that? Who could be anything better than that? Who could be anything better than what God created you to be? because he created you to be miraculous. So once you see that, you will learn that you need to hoard nothing, because you have every single thing that you need, because that's what God and how God created you. He created you to have every single thing that you need. So you do not have to compare yourself to someone else thinking that you're losing out if you don't have X, Y, and Z. So then you start hoarding the stuff that you have. Let that stuff go. And then the last thing that I'm going to say is, through all of the steps that I have provided, I will always come back to number uno is trust God. Trust God. Because as I said earlier, he created you to be abundant. He created you to be prosperous. So if you know that and you trust him, you wouldn't be holding on to all of your junk. I mean, not junk. I'm sorry, y'all. Your stuff. You wouldn't be holding on to it. You'd be free flowing. You'd give and you would get, because he's going to bless you. He will bless the giver. So look here. Let me tell you, I wrote down this Bible verse. It's in Corinthians. Whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly. So y'all already know. Y'all have heard the Bible verse before. You will reap what you sow. That's why I want y'all to be givers. I want you to be givers of your love. I want you to be givers of your stuff. I want you to be givers of your food. I want you to be givers of your money. Don't be greedy. I want you to be givers of your time. You hear? You give. Because you will reap what you sow. And you sow by giving. So if you want more, then you sow more. So 2 Corinthians says, somewhere in 2 Corinthians it says, whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly. It's being stingy, y'all. But whoever sows bountifully in abundance will also reap bountifully in abundance. So family, I want you guys to know who you are and whose you are, and know that God is always conspiring for your good. So you never have to fear the lack of or not having. He's always going to provide for you what you need. And you, family, can create more of that by giving. By giving, by sowing, because you will reap what you sow. And listen, y'all, I'm committed, okay, to sowing bountifully so I can reap bountifully. Just what my heart says. And I'm hoping that yours says the same. All right, family. Well, that is another message that I am delivering straight to you because I love you, because I want more for you, because I want you to find quality of life. And I don't want you to be led by fear and anxiety, especially of not having. So, if you want more, family, then give. Then give. No more hoarders here. All right, family. Well, that is another episode of the Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast with your girl, Andrea Wise-Brown. And I will see you guys on the next episode. I love you. I love you. I love you.